Sean Diddy Combs is currently charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation of individuals for prostitution. This is what the law says. Sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and the transportation of individuals for prostitution are serious federal crimes that are prosecuted under stringent federal laws. These offenses involve multiple jurisdictions, interstate commerce, and organized criminal activity, which are key reasons why they fall under federal court jurisdiction and require the legal representation of experienced federal criminal defense attorneys. Understanding the federal statutes governing these crimes is crucial for those facing federal charges and for anyone seeking the best legal defense for these types of offenses. Number 1. Sex trafficking and federal jurisdiction. Sex trafficking is a grave crime under federal law, prosecuted primarily under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of PA, codified in 18 U.S.C. 1591. Federal jurisdiction is invoked in cases of sex trafficking due to the interstate and international nature of the crime, especially when individuals are moved across state or national borders for the purpose of exploitation. Federal law also targets those who knowingly recruit, transport, or coerce individuals into engaging in commercial sex acts, particularly involving minors or through force, fraud, or coercion. Sex trafficking is prosecuted at the federal level because the internet, transportation systems, and organized criminal networks often facilitate the crime across state lines. This invokes federal laws, making it a federal offense. The penalties for sex trafficking can be severe, ranging from 10 years to life in prison, depending on the nature of the offense and whether minors were involved. A conviction may also lead to mandatory restitution to victims. Number 2. Racketeering conspiracy. Understanding RICO. Racketeering conspiracy, governed by the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act RICO under 18 U.S.C. 1961 to 1968, is another federal crime tied to organized criminal enterprises. The RICO Act allows federal prosecutors to charge individuals or organizations involved in a pattern of criminal activity, such as sex trafficking or drug trafficking, as part of a broader criminal conspiracy. RICO prosecutions typically involve a variety of illegal activities, including extortion, money laundering, and human trafficking, all connected under an organized enterprise. This makes racketeering a federal crime, as the criminal activities span state and national boundaries and involve substantial economic impact. A racketeering conspiracy charge carries significant penalties, including up to 20 years in federal prison for each count, hefty fines, and asset forfeiture. Number 3. Transportation to engage in prostitution. The federal law concerning the transportation of individuals for prostitution is addressed under the Mann Act, codified in 18 U.S.C. 2421. The Mann Act criminalizes the transportation of individuals across state or international borders for the purpose of engaging in prostitution or other illegal sexual activities, even if the person consents to the act. The involvement of interstate transportation brings the case under federal jurisdiction. Federal prosecutors focus on transportation for prostitution due to its interstate nature and the involvement of organized crime networks that often traffic individuals across state lines for commercial sex work. Penalties for violating the Mann Act include up to 10 years in prison, as well as substantial fines and potential forfeiture of assets used in committing the crime. Moreover, federal agencies, such as the FBI, ICE, and the Department of Homeland Security, often investigate and prosecute these crimes due to their wide-reaching impact on public safety and national security. Federal court jurisdiction allows for broader investigative powers and harsher penalties than state courts, particularly in cases of organized crime and trafficking.